Hello and welcome back to the channel. Now today we're going to be going over kind of the Eagles offseason, some of the major points we need to make. I'm going to start by going through positions of need. Then I'm going to go to any trade targets, maybe possible free agents. Not too deep into free agency yet. We'll wait till actual re-signs and close to free agency. Then we're going to end with a quick little 2-round mock draft to see what we can get with our first round picks and our second if we don't trade them. Now first, it was a tough game for the Eagles against the Buccaneers, but really, in my eyes, this season was a success. This was supposed to be a rebuild. A lot of teams had us projected like 4 or 5 wins, and this wasn't supposed to be a good year for us. First-year head coach, second-year quarterback. People didn't expect a lot, and yet we went out there and we made the playoffs. Now, we beat up on a lot of bad teams, and I don't want those wins against bad teams to overshadow our big flaws and make mistakes. So this is a really crucial offseason. This is the most weaponry not any team, but like this is the most weaponry I've seen from the Eagles in a long time that we have with draft picks. And this is our time to go make some moves that we need to make. So first, I'm going to go into the positions that stood out to me during the Bucs game that I think we need an upgrade. Now, the biggest position is going to be quarterback, but I'm going to get to that at the end, I do think. But the other position, I think we need a wide receiver 2-3. I think Quez is good, and he's just going to improve and probably be better. So he might be able to be our wide receiver 2, but if he sizes up to a wide receiver 2, we need a wide receiver 3. If he can't make that jump, we need a wide receiver 2 to pair across them, because otherwise, after that, Jalen Reagor's awful. I hope he doesn't play anymore. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, it's time for him to go. Greg Ward's solid, but I'm not going to expect Greg Ward to be our number 2 receiver. So definitely upgrading there. I think there's a lot of ways to upgrade that position, though, whether it's through free agency or the draft. I'm not too worried about that. The next position is cornerback 2. I think cornerback 2 is very important because I think we have Maddox solidified as he'll be solid in the slot. Slay's really good outside, Pro Bowler at the number 1. And then Steven Nelson was solid this year. It sounds like Steven Nelson won't be coming back. I don't think Zach McPherson is ready to step up in that role as corner 2. So I like taking corner early in this draft, especially with how good some of the corners like, especially if like a guy like Ahmad Gardner, Khair Elam. Those are some of my favorite guys when we get in the draft for corner. But one of those guys, I haven't looked too much in the free agency. There might be some good corners we can kind of look at in free agency, but those are guys, that's definitely a position. And then safety, we need to upgrade our safety. I mean, Anthony Harris is on a 1-year deal. McLeod's been solid, but he's near the end of his time. Probably as a football player, he's getting up there. We need a safety and a solid safety that we can trust and step on. We haven't really had one of those. So that's definitely a big position of need. Edge depth, we saw it was hurt. It sucks that Brandon Graham was out this whole season, but he's definitely on the back of it, end of his career. Josh Sweat's good, but like you saw when Josh Sweat is hurt, it gets rough, especially because Derek Barnett was on his 5th year, so he's probably not coming back. He's probably going to be gone. So right now we have Josh Sweat. Brandon Graham will come back. We don't know how much of him he'll be. Then we have guys like Patrick Johnson, Taron Jackson, Gennard Avery maybe. He's playing more linebacker for us, but we need another solid edge too, and especially with this draft class, if we don't end up trading our picks, this draft class is stacked at edge. I love some of the guys we could probably get in the teens. David Ojabo is the one that everybody right now is mocking to the Eagles, and he would be solid. But definitely edge depth, and then linebacker, it always is the same one. I don't know if Eagles will ever value linebacker, but like you saw in that Tampa game, they shut down our run with their linebackers. I mean, Levante David's elite, and for the struggles that Devin White's had in coverage, he made huge plays in the run game, flying sideline to sideline, making plays for the Bucs, and like we've just never had that. Alex Singleton and TJ Edwards are solid. If you have a really good linebacker 1, they can be a good linebacker 2, but they're not good linebacker 1s. If those 2 are starting, you definitely need to upgrade somewhere. Those are my biggest holes that I think we have. I mean, we could always use, depth on the O-line. I think a tight end 2, I don't know Tyree Jackson. He tore his ACL against Washington. I don't know with him. I thought he could be our tight end 2, but with the injury, it's hard to tell. So definitely tight end 2 is another position we could look at. And then running back, I like Kenneth Gainwell. I think he could be our guy because I think Miles Sanders isn't going to come back. I don't think we should pay him either. He's a solid running back, but I don't think Kenneth Gainwell's any worse than Miles Sanders, and he's on a rookie deal. So I'm not paying our running backs if it's me. But now we're going to go on to the quarterback position that I was saying is a big need. Jalen Hurts is an average quarterback. I remember hearing Bill Simmons made the greatest, weirdest comp and ceiling and floor for Jalen Hurts. He is that quarterback that he's an overqualified backup quarterback in the NFL, but you're also not confident you can win a Super Bowl with him as your starting quarterback. He's somewhere between a Case Keenum and an Andy Dalton. Like, they're good quarterbacks. Andy Dalton will have 10-win seasons with you, but like he's not gonna take us that far. You see his arm talent's not there. The interception he threw to, I believe it's to Mike Edwards right before half. I mean, Devontae's open. A quarterback with good arm strength makes that throw. He's missing open receivers. You saw Quez Watkins would have been wide open on their first drive. He's eager to get out of the pocket. He's just not going through his progressions. And the arm talent, like I said, is what's really kills him. There's throws where like he should be able to make that throw, but he just doesn't have the arm talent to zip it where it needs to go. He's missing Quez Watkins, who's torching dudes that ran 4.2, 4.3s at the combine. I mean, Quez was balling out there, and like I don't put it all on Jalen Hurts that game, but the flaws definitely came out. I think people were overhyping him. Maybe myself included. I've always been skeptical about him, but people were overhyping him for beating Washington, the Giants, the Jets. Oh, he didn't even play against the Jets, but people were overhyping those games. And when you see him play an actual good team, he can crumble, especially when a team like the Bucs come and say, we're taking away your run game. He will crumble. And another reason that I think it's good to get a quarterback this offseason is I don't think there's ever been a time in NFL history where the caliber of quarterbacks are available for trade right now. We have supposedly available for trade Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, and Derek Carr. Those are 4 probably top 10 quarterbacks, 3 top 5 quarterbacks debatably available for trade right now. And we have 3 first-round picks. There isn't a more perfect scenario to go after a quarterback right now if you're the Eagles. And my favorite, I don't personally think Rodgers wants to come to Philly. I don't know. I haven't heard that in a report, but I also haven't heard reports that he wants to come to Philly. So I would love that. That would be my second favorite if we could, but I don't think it happened. I would love Watson, but it sounds like he's trying to get Flores to go somewhere. He's another guy I don't think those 2 guys have trade. I don't know if Rodgers probably does have a trade clause, but Watson has a trade clause. So if he doesn't want to go to Philly, he won't go to Philly. And the legal stuff makes it harder for him. Derek Carr is one of those guys where I wouldn't be too upset. I wouldn't trade more than a first-round pick. I would definitely probably give up a first-round pick for Derek Carr, but not much more. He's only on like 17, 18 million, which is really good for a good starting quarterback. And with some weapons that we have, I think he could be good. I'm not pushing for a Carr trade, but if we did it, I would be happy, and I think we could have a really good team next year. My favorite's Russell Wilson, though. I think his hand was definitely bothering him at the end of the season. I mean, we saw just in 2020, dude threw like 40 touchdowns and led a pretty bad Seahawks roster to 12-4. I mean, he was balling out. He was looking good at the beginning of the season, had the injury. Looked like he maybe was coming back from that injury at the end. But my perfect deal for Russ is 2 firsts and Jalen Hurts. I mean, if you're Seahawks, Russ is probably gone anyway. It sounds like he wants out. So there's been reports that Russ would waive his no trade clause to go to the Eagles. I don't know if those are true, but there's been sense that he would. And I think 2 firsts, that's ammo right now for the Seahawks to start their rebuild. Plus, Hurts, I mean, if you're the Seahawks, why not take a chance on Hurts? He's shown upside. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. Jalen Hurts can win you 9-10 games. It's just I want that upside, especially when the Eagles don't have an incredible roster. I want that upside. That's what I'm chasing with a guy like Russ, a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, and probably a Hall of Famer when it's all said and done. You don't get opportunities to trade for guys like this often. Now, I would go quarterback in the first round if we don't trade. I'll get to that when we get to our mock draft. But one thing I want to do real quick, I want to go through a little history lesson. We have 15, 16, and 19 first-round picks. I want to go through the last 5 years, who was drafted at 15, 16, and 19, and then we can make a decision on whether or not those players would be more valuable to our team than Russell Wilson. So first, we're going to start with the 2021 NFL Draft. This past year, picks 15, 16, 19 in order go Mac Jones, Zaven Collins, Jamin Davis. Mac Jones was kind of an anomaly because that was one of the deepest quarterback classes we've ever seen. But, I mean, he's looking pretty good. I think there's some quarterbacks with similar levels that we could maybe get this year. They're not going to be as pro-ready, but they have upside. Zaven Collins and Jamin Davis, yeah, give me Russell Wilson any day of the year. Going on to the 2020 NFL Draft, picks 15, 16, 19 in order to go Jerry Jeudy, A.J. Terrell, and Caleb Von Chason. Jerry Jeudy, he's looking all right, but he's a receiver. He's not a game changer. I mean, what has he really done for the Broncos? He's looked solid sometimes, but if you don't have good quarterback play, I mean, he's not going to do much. A.J. Terrell, that was really good, but he was also a risk, so I'll give you that one. 16 was, I definitely would take A.J. Terrell, probably rather than trading him and someone else for Russ. That'd be tough, but nonetheless, you got to pick 19. Sorry, pick 19 is Damon Arnett. Pick 20 was Caleb Von Chason. Pick 19 is Damon Arnett. He's not even in the NFL anymore, so give me Russell Wilson. Going on to the 2019 draft, 15, 16, 19. Dwayne Haskins, Brian Burns, and Noah Fant. Brian Burns has looked good, but none of those three are game changers, and none of those three would bring more to the Eagles than Russell Wilson would. Going to the 2018 draft, 15, 16, 19. Marcus Davenport, Colton Miller, and Leighton Vander Esch. None of those dudes are game changers, especially for the fact that Marcus Davenport they traded a first for, but that's not the argument here. None of those dudes are game changers. Russell Wilson is a game changer. 2017, 15, 16, 19. We got Malik Hooker, Marlon Humphrey, and Garrett Bowles. Marlon Humphrey, I will give you that. Marlon Humphrey has been a stud and maybe that value. But the point of going through those 5 years of draft, the hit rate on those picks in that middle of the first is it's not so low, but it is pretty low. There was a lot of players I just listed off that barely start for teams and don't make big impacts for their teams. Where you get a guy like Russ, he's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. You know he's going to change your team. He's going to get you to the playoffs. You put Russell Wilson on this Eagles team that makes no changes. They are making the playoffs. They are doing better than they just did with Hurts. That's a guarantee. And they have that Super Bowl upside because Russ can beat the top quarterbacks in a playoff game. I don't think Hurts can. So that's where I really come from. Now, one of the other interesting things I was thinking about, there's rumors that Calvin Ridley is available for trade. And if I'm the Eagles and I have 3 first-round picks, I am in a heartbeat giving up any of those 3 first-round picks for Calvin Ridley. And I think that's a solid deal for the Falcons, too. I mean, you see Stephon Diggs went for the first-round pick that ended up being 19 or 20 overall. It ended up being like 20 or 21. It ended up being the Justin Jefferson pick, but 20-some overall. You saw Diggs went for – that was Diggs. I'm just blanking. DeAndre Hopkins went for a second-round pick in David Johnson. You're telling me you can't – if I gave you 19 for Calvin Ridley, someone's saying no? 19 and a fifth? I don't know. We throw in some other little sweetener in there, maybe 19 and Andre Dillard, even though he's not going to be on the team. So that makes no sense now that I say it. But, I think that's a great trade for both sides. We get Calvin Ridley. They get the 19th overall pick. I would do that in a heartbeat if I'm the Eagles. Go out to get that guy or try and get a guy like A-Rob in free agency. I want a veteran to put in that receiving core because Quez and Devontae are good, but they're very young. I want a vet in that core, especially if we do keep Hurts or get a drafted quarterback. You saw the impact Diggs had on Josh Allen, a veteran receiver that can pair with that quarterback. That would be very important, I think, for a young quarterback. So a guy even like A-Rob who had a down year, he's a veteran guy who's shown he can do it in the past. Bring him in and he could start a new connection and help build up that offense even more. Now, I'm not going to get into too much of the free agency, but one message I do want to put out there is if Jesse Bates becomes a free agent, which I don't think he will, but I think the Bengals are going to re-sign him. But if somehow he becomes a free agent, I am giving him whatever he wants in free agency if I'm the Eagles. Elite free safety play is in my opinion, is the third most valuable thing you can have on defense. An elite pass rusher is number 1, a lockdown corner is number 2, and an elite free safety is number 3 because you saw what Earl Thomas did. That Legion of Boom was not the Legion of Boom without Earl Thomas. I'm not saying Jesse Bates is Earl Thomas, but he's a ball hawk that can fly around, and just the range that he can cover up in the back end can help your corners play underneath more aggressive. They help your corners out more, and your corners look better because of a guy like him. So I am spending everything on Jesse Bates if he becomes available. That's just a take I kind of want to throw in there. Now, the last part of this video, I'm going to go ahead and get into a mock draft for the first 2 rounds for the Eagles. Now, this mock draft is going to be assuming we make no trades for our first round pick. So we're sticking with Hurts. We're not trading for Ridley. And this is going to be the first round mock draft. Let's get right into it. All right, and we're here with the mock draft now. I'm just simming it on the website. The website will be in the description if you guys want to go use it yourself. We're up at pick 15. Now, this is kind of where I'm looking at the Eagles. Some of the prospects that I say are no-brainer if they're available here at 15. Ahmad Gardner, Kyle Hamilton, Derek Stingley. I don't think Ahmad Gardner could fall there. I don't think he should, but if he does, Kyle Hamilton and Stingley probably won't fall there. Those are my no-brainers. Ajabo could be a must, I think, if he's there for the Eagles. But how this board goes out, we're here at 15. So like I said, I want defense. I want to attack some defense. I like Kaiir Elam. There's no safety other than Kyle Hamilton that I'm taking in the first. So look away from that. Receiver, I could definitely see us attacking. Edge, I would like. I don't like how this edge with Ajabo gone. I'm not a huge Drake London or Benito fan. I do like Kingsley Nagbari, and I like some of the depth maybe in the second round. We could definitely attack receiver. Would definitely not be. But what I want to do is I'm picking Devin Lloyd. Now, there's been the debate between Devin Lloyd and Nakobe Dean. I read an interesting tweet from Matt Miller, and he was saying he spoke to a lot of scouts, and they actually have maybe Nakobe Dean as their third linebacker. They don't like him because he's shorter for a linebacker. He has short arms, which short arms are huge, like, getting in passing windows, especially getting off blocks. That's where it's the most important. When O-linemen are coming at you, it's hard to get off blocks if you have shorter arms. And he's probably not going to – he's going to run fast, but he's not going to run super fast to make up for those shorter arms. But I love Devin Lloyd. He's just all around. So I would go Devin Lloyd over Nakobe Dean for the Philadelphia Eagles at 15, back right up on the clock at 16. It's going to be fun during the draft to have those back-to-back picks. And – like, realistically, the part that makes it hard for me is I don't see any way with 3 first-round picks that Howie Roseman does not draft a D lineman. Please do not draft Jordan Davis. Now, this is when I'm going to make my statement. I said something about Jordan Davis. In boycott of the awards and him being supposedly the best defensive player in college football, you will never see me draft Jordan Davis in any of my mock drafts. Will he be a first-round pick? Yes. This is a boycott to the awards. You will never see Jordan Davis in any of my mock drafts go. I will never pick Jordan Davis in boycott of the awards. Now that we got that out of the way. Edge, like I don't like the edge. Actually, I would take probably a weapon here. And I don't know about – everyone loves Drake London. People have him really high. Some people have him like as high of grade as some of the receivers from last year. Some aren't as high. As an Eagles fan, I watch him – and I get J.J. Arcega-Whiteside flashbacks. He's better than J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, yes, but his style of play, everything's contested catches, Pac-12. I get J.J. Arcega-Whiteside flashbacks, so I do not feel comfortable taking Drake London as an Eagles fan. I think he's going to be great, but J.J. Arcega-Whiteside flashbacks are not what I really need in my life right now. So instead, I'm going to help the Eagles out, and I'm going to go ahead and draft my favorite guy, Garrett Wilson. He's got great hands. I think he's one of the best separators. I love separating receivers. Like my favorite guys that I like, the guys like Justin Jefferson, Devontae Smith, those guys, like Keenan Allen. I would say Devontae Adams, but he's everything. Those guys are just great route runners, and they just naturally separate. When they catch the ball, they're open, they're separating. They're not great at contested catches, they're not super fast, but they separate. That's the most important aspect to me of a receiver, and that's what Wilson does. He just separates, and that's why I think I pair him. I like a guy like Olave, and I actually thought about like Olave or Jameson. Jameson, the injury hurts, but I think he still go high. But they're the speedsters. I think Quez Watkins can be that speedster in the Eagles offense. So I like a guy like Garrett Wilson kind of pair out there. Now with our third first round pick, I'm going to do what you guys don't think. We're going quarterback, and we're going Sam Howell. Now you guys might debate the Sam Howell. The thing I feel about Sam Howell, he has an incredible arm. He's really good with RPOs, which you've seen the Eagles like to run. And I think it was a blessing in disguise that Sam Howell had no help this year. He was forced to go through progressions better. he was forced to throw the ball mid, not just chuck it deep to De'Ami Brown every play. I loved that he didn't have the weapons. He faced some adversity in college. He was changed it. He started coming through near the end of the year. If you go back and watch this dude's tape, his arm talent is incredible. If we draft Sam Howell, you do not have to start Sam Howell week 1. Jalen Hurts can still start for us. And I mean, worst case scenario, Jalen Hurts takes the leap that people think he can. And cool, we just have Sam Howell in our back pocket. We could flip him for something, do something. But I'm taking that chance. I'm getting that in the building. Like I said, he's a kind of a developmental guy. Cool, he can develop behind Jalen Hurts for a year. I'm not too upset if we do that. I think Sam Howell could be the dude in Philly. And I'm really big on Sam Howell. I probably like Pickett, Corral, and Howell are my top tier. Malik Willis, I think, can be a stud. He's just developmental. He's kind of in between. Desmond Ridder, I still have to watch a little more. I do like Desmond Ridder, though. I think he definitely is a first-round talent. It'll be interesting. This is one of the weirdest draft classes because I feel like no position is really solidified. I mean, edge kind of has a hierarchy, but like quarterbacks, I mean, it's a crapshoot for quarterbacks. Anyone could be one. Receiver, it's a crapshoot. Anyone could be one. O-line, once you get past probably Evan Neal, it's a crapshoot. Even then, I mean, really the top tier, you have Evan Neal, Ike Ekwonu, and Charles Cross. And after that, it's a crapshoot. Actually, and Linderbaum's a center, but I feel like that's almost a whole different category. But, like, there's a lot of crapshoot. Cornerback's a crapshoot after Stingley. I mean, it's going to be an interesting draft. Mock drafts are going to be really tough this year. Going on to the second round, I just want to see, kind of where things fall out. A couple times I've had here when I did these is Wandel Robinson. I love Wandel Robinson. He's one of my favorite. He's electric with the ball. But with how it goes, we got ourselves 2 offense in Devin Lloyd. When I said I want to attack edge, this is why I didn't attack edge right there, because I think there's still some depth. I love Cameron Thomas from San Diego State. I'm going to take him right here in the second. Like, I think Cameron Thomas in the second is way better value than taking a Drake London, Kingsley Nagbari, Majay Sanders, someone like that in the first. I'd rather wait in the second and get Cam Thomas. For me, for my money, that's what I would rather do. We come out with Devin Lloyd and Cameron Thomas, help beef up that front 7. We get Garrett Wilson and Sam Howell. Those fill almost all of our needs. The only needs we still need are corner and safety. Now, those are ones we'd have to attack elsewhere if we do go this route. I want to attack corner in the first round, but just the way the board fell out. I mean, realistically, if we do want to look at corner, some of the other corners I could have taken there. Like I said, I like Kaiir Elam. He would have been my next guy. But guys like Roger McCreary and Trent McDuffie from Washington are other guys I could see kind of in that first round. Trent McDuffie could actually be really interesting because the Eagles run a lot of zone, and that's where Trent McDuffie's great with his, eyes on the quarterback, playing zone, making plays. So yeah, those are some of my favorite guys. That's going to be it for this video. Let me know what you guys thought about this offseason for the Eagles. We'll get into more full first round mock drafts soon. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.